Nothing bad happened that day. Daniel still got to work on time, like he always did. No one yelled at him. There was no clear conflict. But early on, he felt tired, drained, for no clear reason. He carried that feeling through the morning, through the afternoon, and by night, he still didn't understand why he felt that way. That morning started out normal. The city was loud, as usual. People rushed by just like they always do. Nothing big happened, no obvious problem. Just a short, sharp comment, a look with no patience, a tiny moment that made his chest sink. From there, the day slowed down. His mind stopped being present. It kept going back to that sentence, that look. The more he replayed it, the heavier it felt. Work continued, but the discomfort spread quietly. Everything felt harder than it should have. Looking back, that moment wasn't big enough to decide the whole day. It only became heavy because he carried it for too long. A lot of us know this feeling. Not because someone did something terrible, but because our emotions never had time to settle. Small things don't get let go. They pile up. They turn into an invisible weight. And usually, we only notice it when the whole day is already gone. When a feeling gets triggered, the reaction comes fast. So fast, you don't even know what you're upset about yet. A sharp reply, a heavy sigh, or silence that feels uncomfortable. These reactions show up almost automatically, like the mind has learned to protect itself by reacting before listening. And in just a few minutes, the atmosphere changes. The conversation loses its ease. Work starts to feel tense. That calm feeling from earlier disappears. A lot of people think this is normal. And in a way, it is. But what most people don't see is that a single reaction can decide the direction of the entire day. Not because the situation forced it, but because we didn't give ourselves a pause. When reactions happen too quickly, emotions take the lead. And from there, small things begin to feel much heavier than they really are. The main character in this story is Daniel. He isn't remarkable. His life isn't special. Daniel lives a steady life. He works hard. He tries to treat people well. But there's one thing most people don't notice. Daniel often carries yesterday's feelings into the next day. An awkward conversation, an insensitive comment, something that didn't go as planned. They stay with him for a long time. Daniel doesn't talk much about it. He tells himself that this is just who he is, that everyone overthinks sometimes. But over time, those unlet-go feelings begin to pile up. They make him tired more easily, more tense, less able to enjoy ordinary moments. On the outside, everything looks fine. But inside, Daniel feels like he's carrying a weight he can't quite name. Little by little, Daniel begins to notice that something isn't right. Not a big shock, just small changes in daily life. He feels tired, even after enough sleep. Things that once felt easy now feel draining. A normal conversation can stay in his mind for hours. Daniel realizes he isn't just reacting to the present. He's reacting to old feelings that were never released. Some afternoons, he sits alone and asks himself why everything feels so heavy. There's nothing specific to be sad about, yet the tired feeling is still there. That's when he begins to see it. Small things, when they aren't let go, quietly take up space in the mind. If you see yourself in Daniel, comment 1. One evening after work, Daniel doesn't go straight home. He turns into a small, familiar park. Quiet, almost empty at that hour. not because something happened, just because he needs silence. Daniel sits on a wooden bench and watches soft yellow lights fall across the path. No phone in his hand, no music, just his breathing. And the world slowing down. For the first time in days, Daniel allows himself not to think about what already happened and not to worry about what comes next. The familiar heaviness is still there. He can feel it. But this time, he doesn't try to push it away. He simply sits and notices. In that quiet moment, Daniel begins to understand something. Not every feeling needs to be analyzed. Not every emotion needs a reaction. Some thoughts only need to be noticed and then allowed to pass on their own. A few days later, Daniel returns to his usual rhythm. Work, short conversations, afternoons passing quietly. On the surface, nothing has changed. But inside, there's a new calm. During a very ordinary conversation with someone he knows, Daniel hears a sentence. It isn't harsh. It isn't criticism. It's said lightly, almost by accident. Before, it would have passed unnoticed. But now, his mind is slower. The words don't rush through. He doesn't react. He doesn't explain. He doesn't defend himself. Daniel simply listens. And in that silence, he sees something simple. Some words don't need to be carried to understand yourself. Some moments, when you don't rush to react, your emotions find their own way to settle. For the first time, Daniel clearly feels the difference between letting a feeling pass and carrying it all day. A very small choice, but enough to change how he feels inside. If you've ever noticed that not reacting right away made your heart feel lighter, comment 1. After that conversation, Daniel doesn't feel a sudden transformation. Life still has busy days, tiring moments, and things that don't feel good. But something shifts, slowly, almost too small to notice. When something makes his heart sink, Daniel no longer reacts out of habit. He pauses, just for a moment, long enough to ask himself whether this feeling really needs to be carried any further. Sometimes he still feels sad, still irritated, but the feeling doesn't stay like it used to. It arrives, it gets noticed, and then it quietly leaves. Daniel begins to understand something. Peace doesn't mean never getting hurt. It means not letting every hurt stay too long. The change isn't loud. No one notices right away. But for Daniel, each day feels a little lighter, and he knows he's learning what truly deserves a place in his heart. One morning, Daniel wakes up without that familiar heaviness. Not because life is perfect, but because his heart is no longer pulled back to old things. On the way to work, he notices small details. Sunlight through the trees, slow footsteps on the sidewalk, a passing smile. Things he used to miss now feel clear. Daniel realizes the change didn't come from one big decision. It came from small choices, repeated every day. Each time he chooses not to keep an unnecessary feeling, his heart grows lighter. Slowly, the empty space inside stops feeling frightening. It becomes a place to rest. Daniel no longer tries to control everything around him. He focuses on the one thing he can choose: how he reacts. If you're feeling even a small sense of lightness like Daniel, comment 1. Daniel slowly understands that the world around him hasn't changed. People still rush. Words are still careless at times. Bad days still appear. What's different is how Daniel moves through it all. He no longer waits for others to behave differently so he can feel at peace. Instead, he learns how to keep his heart from being pulled by every small collision. Some days, Daniel is still tired, still sad. But those feelings no longer control the entire day. They're just a part of it. They arrive. They leave. Daniel begins to feel a steadiness inside. A calm that doesn't depend on what's happening outside. He understands now. Peace isn't about avoiding life. It's about living fully without carrying everything along the way. And when he stops trying to fix the whole world, Daniel realizes his heart feels much lighter. Daniel's story isn't about changing the world or becoming someone else. It's a reminder. Every day we carry many things we don't actually need. A passing comment, an impatient look, a moment that didn't go our way. They stay with us longer than they should, only because we forget we're allowed to put them down. Daniel doesn't learn to avoid his emotions. He doesn't try to control other people. He learns to pause before reacting. And in that pause, he sees something clearly. Not every feeling needs to be held on to prove anything. Some emotions only need to be noticed and then allowed to pass. When he stops reacting out of habit, he gives himself back his inner quiet. The real value of this lesson is choice. We can't decide what will happen, but we can always choose how we carry it. And when we choose to feel lighter, life doesn't have to be easier. But the road we walk feels far less heavy.